Welcome to Behind the Music, hosted by No Sugar, No Cream Podcast. I'm your host, Seth Holmes, along with musician and artist Tim Wolf, who will be getting right into it.
That is perfect.
Tim. Can I call you Tim? Welcome to the podcast, sir.
Yes. All right. So today we're talking about my album.
Whoa.
Or you should be telling me. What are you telling me?
I'm in charge, sir.
You are in charge.
Today we'll be talking about your album.
Okay.
One of your songs.
Which album and which song?
And take it away, Tim.
So my new album coming out is Born in South Dakota. And I want to talk about the title track, Born in South Dakota.
That's what I was going to say. And we're going to go through one of the songs. And this is episode 1. We're going to talk about each of the songs. Born in South Dakota. You want to go ahead and start playing it, and we'll we'll do a little bit, just kind of do a couple lines at a time.
We sure can. However you like.
I'd say just play it for a little bit, and then we'll just stop whenever you feel like playing it. I'd say we'll just a little chunk of it or whatever.
Let's do it. This is fun. Thank you for doing this.
No problem. Here at No Sugar, No Cream, we go above and beyond. And this is where the excitement starts. Come on, Tim. What's the hold up? Let's get going there.
Here's Born in South Dakota, Tim Wolf band version.
Band version. Oh, juicy.
I was born in South Dakota. Don't say I didn't warn you.
Of course.
There's a certain way we do things around here. When the cold blows through your bones, a man knows that he's alone. When you understand the wind can smile your feet. I was born in South Dakota. Born in South Dakota.
Woo! Song. I would like to tell you how I got the concept of doing a song Born in South Dakota.
I'm going to throw something out there that maybe someone was born in South Dakota.
Yeah, I was. But there's an inspiration for writing a song about not every songwriter writes a song about where they were born. I was watching the show Billions. Remember the show Billions?
Oh,
with
yeah.
Paul Giamatti. Was that Netflix? I don't remember which.
That was Showtime.
Showtime.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
And I love Paul Giamatti. Season 3 had come, and everyone was waiting with bated breath because it was highly anticipated. Episode 1 of Season 3 was launched. It starts with the Paul Giamatti character walking through the halls of a courthouse, and this song was playing called Born in San Antone. Born in San Antone by Garrett T. Capps. Here's Born in San Antone. And that's different than my song, but the concept of being born in San Antone.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so it starts out, I was born in San Antone. And of course, I'm loving the show. The style of music is different than mine, and it's he's doing it with his Texas accent. I was born in San Antone, but I was thinking about I should do that. I should do where I was born. I was born in South Dakota. Now, San Antone is a city, of course, but South Dakotas aren't big enough cities that really doesn't rain.
South Dakota is, I'm pretty sure, in Canada, right?
We are one of the 50 states, but a lot of people, there are so many times that when I meet someone, not while I'm in the Dakotas, of course, when I'm on the East Coast or in the South, where I'm at now, I used to hear it a lot more than now. Maybe people are more traveled. I would invariably get, wow, you're the first person I've met from South Dakota, because there aren't that many of us, but I don't get that much anymore. So I came up with the idea, write a song, Born in South Dakota. And I had the line in my head, don't say I didn't warn you. I don't know why. I was born in South Dakota.
It works well. It sounds good with it.
Thank you. I did. Don't say I didn't warn you. Then that was the concept. So I got with my buddy Jimmy Davis, who's a great songwriter. I said, let's write this song together. So we wrote the chorus. Let's hear the chorus again.
I was born in South Dakota. Don't say I didn't warn you.
There. Don't say I didn't warn you.
There's a certain way we do things around here. When the cold blows through your bones, a man knows that he's alone.
What is one of the biggest characteristics of South Dakota? I used to come to South Dakota a lot and visit your grandparents.
Well, something you said in the song is that it's definitely cold.
Yes.
You can see for miles, which is amazing.
Yeah. So it's cold, and it just goes through your bones. Mm-hmm. So that is, I thought that fit.
It's a different kind of cold, yeah.
Yeah, different kind of cold. And also making the cold into an actual being that can smell your fear, making it into more than what it is. I mean, the cold is the cold, obviously, but it feels like an adversary. It feels like an actual person that you're dealing with, or an actual being that you're fighting with.
When you understand it, the wind can smell your fear. I was born in South Dakota. Born in South Dakota.
So your wind can smell your fear.
Yeah, I hear the line. You have the line in there. There's a certain way we do things, which I distinctly think right away, like very much old fashioned. Like South Dakota is very much like old school in a way.
Yeah, sure.
And
sure.
I mean, very much country. I mean, lots of farmland. Your father was a farmer. You were a farmer yourself. Yeah, that's the first thing I would think of is just how like kind of old school everything is, and like
right.
the way it feels and everything.
And
which is awesome. I hope it never changes, even though it.
Yes, and I mean that goes with his. I mean, there's the story of there was a famous movie. I think it had Leonardo DiCaprio in it, and it was a true story. We were taught this when I was in school. Hugh Glass, I think was his name. He was a guy living in South Dakota, like in the 1800s. He was mauled by a grizzly bear. This was in South Dakota, and he was left for dead by his cohorts. I guess he came back to, and he couldn't really walk, but he crawled for 200 miles with the drive of taking revenge on the people that.
So was it? But you said it was animals.
Well, he was with his.
They left him.
They left him. They left. They didn't attack him, but they left him.
Okay.
And so that to me embodies the toughness and the self survival of South Dakotans. And so I try to impart that into the song. Let's see, Hugh Glass. Hugh Glass, American fur trader. He died in 1833. He was an American frontiersman, hunter and explorer. He's best known for his story of survival and forgiveness after being left for dead by companions when he was mauled by a grizzly bear.
So he was upset that they didn't take him with them.
That they didn't try to take care of him. They abandoned him. No man left behind. That's the code, certainly in military, and it should be the code when you're out in the wilderness and you're fighting against the elements. And they left him. He regained consciousness, but found himself abandoned without weapons or equipment. He had festering wounds. He lay mutilated and alone more than 200 miles from the nearest American settlement. He set the bone of he had broken his leg, set his own bone, wrapped himself in bear hide that they'd placed over him, and began crawling back Fort Chihuahua. That was 200 miles. He crawled 200 miles. And he made it there and survived. And then he began, it took him 6 weeks. He survived mostly on wild berries and roots. And then he wanted to find those people, and he did find them, and he was going to attack them and kill them, but he ended up forgiving them.
Because they were like, we thought you were dead. Oh, my bad. Everything's good.
So, I mean, that particular story isn't in the song, but the feeling of that frontiersman and that the feeling of that and of the ability to survive in the wild, South Dakotans. I mean, because man, it does get cold. I mean, I remember being stranded at an early. It was early spring actually. It was March. I was going to the girls' state basketball championships. I believe it's in March. I hadn't paid attention to the weather, which we know I don't do, and the weather hadn't been that bad. And all of a sudden, a storm came. I had to turn around, and suddenly the blizzard came, and the winds were blowing, and you couldn't see anything. Couldn't see the road, and of course I drove off the road because I didn't want to stay there because it suddenly got very cold and the wind blowing. You didn't want to stay out there. And I was wondering, how am I going to survive this? And there was a car coming by very slowly. They allowed me in their car, and we slowly tried to make our way back, and everyone's looking out the window trying to find a way. We ended up going into the ditch, and somebody came and pulled us out. I mean, this was in March. And if they hadn't come along, and I've had run out of gas, people do die in those circumstances because it was like 20 below. I mean, if I had gas to keep me, I don't remember. I may have had enough gas, I don't recall. But I mean, you can die in those situations. And this was in March in a sudden storm. It was a nice day in the middle of the day, and all of a sudden, by nighttime, this blizzard came up. It can be quite tough. Anyway, that's the weather of South Dakota and North Dakota, of course, and that part of the world, not just the state.
None of our listeners will be moving to South Dakota anytime soon. Freeze to death.
Well, you get tough. I mean, and I really do believe that living in a place like that, shapes you into what kind of a person you become. I mean, wherever we live, I believe it shapes into what kind of a person we become.
Definitely tough, hardworking people.
Yeah. That's the point of what I was trying to represent with the song. But there's a whole nother story to the song. There's a whole nother characters in the song, the verses. Shall we listen to the first verse?
Let us shall, or we shall.
Aces of red and eights of black is a pretty strong hand. By God, stuff should win out unless you get shot in the back.
I think somebody got shot in the back.
Somebody got shot in the back. Do you know who that's about?
I do not.
Okay, so Wild Bill Hickok. Now, Deadwood, South Dakota, was a frontiers town, and now it's just a gambling tourist place. But it was it's on the western side of the state. Black Hills of South Dakota had a gold rush. They did discover gold there, and a lot of people moved there to try to find gold. And it did have the largest operating gold mine in the northern hemisphere for a period of time, Homestake Gold Mine, until they shut that down a few decades ago. So there is gold in the hills. And Deadwood was kind of part of that. Deadwood has this western lore to it. And Wild Bill Hickok was there, and he was a gunslinger, known as a gunslinger. He killed a number of men in gunfights. He'd been a deputy, been a marshal, been a sheriff, very storied career. And he liked to play cards, poker. He went to play poker as usual at the Number 10 Saloon, which there still is a Number 10 Saloon that plays up while Bill Hickok was there. It's in Deadwood, South Dakota. It's kind of a tourist attraction now. Normally, he always sat with his back to the wall because he wanted to see who was coming in. Apparently, he had people who were mad at him or whatever. He always had his gun with him. And that day, one of the guys playing poker wanted to sit there. For whatever reason, ended in his death, he allowed that guy to take that chair. And he sat with his back to the door. There was a guy who had been there the day before who got drunk, and Wild Bill Hickok had beat him out of his money at poker, and the guy was mad. And finally, Wild Bill Hickok told him to go home. He came back the next day, and he shot Bill Hickok. Actually in the back of the head, but I needed to rhyme with back, so shot in the back. But he was killed. And he had 4 cards at the time. It was a pair of aces and a pair of eights. It's now called the dead man's hand. That's if you pair of aces and pair of eights, it's a dead man's hand because Wild Bill Hickok that's what he was holding when he was shot. So obviously you don't win if you get shot in the back or back of the head, and that's a true story.
Correct. That's so weird. Like, I suck at poker. Kill you. I'm not gonna kill you because I suck at poker.
Well, alcohol was involved, Yeah. So
you think he would have sobered up by the next day? He was a little special.
Maybe he was. That was one character in the song. And then we go to the first verse, and then we have another character in the song, in the second verse.
California and Bill were 3 things that haunted her soul. Madly in love with a boastful fool, working on a Wild West show. Once Bill was dead, she sought her revenge. Calamity forgot her gun. To this day, they lay side by side. Bill's love case still hasn't won.
That that is about Calamity Jane. Calamity Jane is another real-life character who was living in Deadwood, South Dakota at that time, and by all accounts, she kind of had an infatuation for Wild Bill, but he didn't share it. And she also had a problem with alcohol. She had two friends. One was named Billy, the other was named California. And so the song says, there were only three things she cared about: Billy, California, and alcohol, the bottle. She had a drinking problem. But she was a very skilled markswoman. After Wild Bill got killed, she was going to avenge his death. This is all true story, documented. But she must have been drunk because she forgot her gun. She's going to shoot the guy that killed Wild Bill, but she forgot her gun. Literally forgot her gun. And then eventually she died. I don't know, unremarkable death. The townsfolk of Deadwood, whoever decided. So back then, if you didn't have money or no family there, the city would bury you, put it together. And they, for whatever reason, cruel joke on Bill or cruel joke on her. Oh, and also, Wild Bill, one of the ways he was in a Wild West touring show. Because even though the Wild West was going on, they had touring shows that would tour and replay the Wild West for Eastern folks. And Wild Bill did do some of that.
Huh.
That made his aura even bigger than life. And there were other characters from that time who did that. And so Wild Bill was in that Wild West touring show.
So the East was completely different.
Yeah, I believe so. Completely, based on my understanding. You didn't walk around with your revolver stuck in your holster. Not that it was as much. They like to say it didn't happen as much, but if you study the story of Wild Bill Hickok, there were a number of shootouts. And OK Corral, that happened, not in South Dakota, but another shootout. The famous story of Doc Holliday, and that happened. There's a town in Missouri, Randy, who always watches our podcast. He's been there or from there, and he said there was a shootout that Wild Bill was in before he came to South Dakota that he won, of course. And there's a plaque in the square where the shootout happened, and he killed somebody in a shootout. I think at the time he had a badge. Whether or not you had your badge doesn't mean you could be a bad guy and then they give you a badge. Does that make you a good guy? So there's a lot of controversy. But he was involved in more than one or two. I mean, he was known as a gunfighter. Probably not everyday occurrence, but it definitely happened multiple times. Yeah, Calamity Jane forgot her gun. And so what the city of Deadwood did, for humor or whatever, they buried them. They buried her right next to where Wild Bill was buried. And so to this day, Bill's love, Jane still hasn't won. That was
she would probably be happy with that.
If she knew, but she was dead, so she didn't know. That was the song, and so that song I wrote with Jimmy, and and then we took a little poetic license. Aces of red and eights of black is a pretty strong hand. Well, we didn't know they could have been red or black, but we needed to rhyme aces of red and eights of black. So we just arbitrarily said that, okay, eights were the spades and the clubs.
Mm-hmm. Which is plausible.
Plausible, yeah, and it makes for a nice, picturesque line.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But we don't know the suits. We just know that it was a pair of aces and a pair of eights.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, because it's based on history, yeah.
So that was
nice.
The writing of the song. I mean, any observations or thoughts? Or
that was very good. Very there's a lot to it. Very intriguing. Yeah. Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
And then the recording of the song. This is actually the second version, I think, that I put out of this song. The first one was on my Everything I Learned in Grade School. And then this one is the Tim Wolf Band version, and I recorded this in Madison, Indiana. I recorded the bass and drums with live band Carrie and Danny. Pictures on the inside of the CD. And we had a great time. We recorded 9 songs there, and that's what's on the album. Madison has kind of become my second home in a way, and I have an apartment there, as you know, and you've been there. That was recorded at the Madison Music Movement Studio, which doesn't exist anymore because the guy who was running it decided to retire. That's where we recorded that part. And then I recorded the rest of my parts, my guitar part, my vocals, in here in the studio where we're sitting, and then sent them off to get mixed. That's how the production of the song came about. And
awesome.
My producer put in some parts. He put in background vocals. That's my producer Kenny put in background vocals. So, and it's going to be coming out. The single has already been released, but the album will be coming out June 27th. But by the time most of you watch this, the album will already be out. But Born in South Dakota, that's the title song from the album.
Thank you for warning us.
All right, that's the behind the scenes. Any other probing questions that you might have?
I think that should do it, Tim. That's Behind the Scenes with No Sugar, No Cream podcast.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Tim Wolf.
Awesome.